Hello and welcome to this week's look at action and stunts on film and television. How are you? Yes, it is a slightly different program to the one advertised because the edit is still taking place. So once that's happened, much longer job than anticipated, but once that's done, then we'll move on to Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. It is en route, panic not. But in the meantime, we're going to be taking a look at the Class of 84, movies that celebrate 40 years anniversary, the 40th anniversary of these movies. 2024, 1984. The movie this week is a good example of one that probably should have done much better at the box office. It did much better on video and later on in DVD, but didn't really tick all of the boxes, which is a great shame because it comes from a stable of individuals who will go on to do incredible things. The director is Mark Lester. Mark Lester, of course, gave us Commando the following year. The stunt coordinator is Glenn Randall, and he has a fabulous team of individuals with him. And of course, the star of the movie is Drew Barrymore, little Drew Barrymore from E.T., who would later become one of Charlie's Angels and a global superstar in varying areas. So she's the star of this, and I believe her. You know, I think she's pretty convincing in this. It's got some terrific pictures. She also, there's a lovely interview with her online discussing the action and being around the stunt people. So what I think we will do is we will take a look at some of the action here. And we're looking at firework, particularly fire gags. The movie's called Firestarter for a reason, you know. And there's some great visuals going on here. So enjoy this and we'll regroup afterwards. Here it is. So Firestarter it is. Let's take a look at some of the action. We're going to start in the kitchen, and this is actress Heather Locklear having her hands set alight for real. You know, there's little timers in there and everything's done remotely, so it's very, very clever stuff. The porch standoff is where a huge proportion of work has gone in here. Obviously, there's Drew's thermostat going overtime and partial body burns galore. Again, often being set by little trigger timers. Here's another example right under the sleeve of actor Drew Snyder. And then Mike Johnson does the rest of the fire burn itself. Let's take a look at that and slightly more closely. So this is the actor, and then he's put out. And then Mike Johnson will step in. This is him and Glenn Randall going through the routine, where he has to go, what he has to do. He has to know every single last movement, so he knows exactly where he is. Then there's the costume. The costume it's lightweight, but underneath it is another a fire suit, but that's lightweight. This was the first time this had been developed. He's using oxygen. There's 90 seconds of oxygen here for him to use should he need it. And this is him explaining the rest of what goes on.
We have a spot that we're supposed to go to and die right there in the spot. But sometimes the fire is in front of your eyes, so you have to wiggle your head like this, which makes the fire shoot back and forth. And sometimes you can pick up a car here or a tree there or a person there where you're supposed to go. By the time you're all through at the burn, and they take off this headpiece, and you see the world, you see the blue sky, and your friends are all applauding, that makes everything worth it.
Makes everything worthwhile, he says. He's dead right. The rest of the sequence is, again, remarkable stuff. Cars being blown up, big explosions, more partial body burns throughout the frame. The heat must be absolutely extraordinary. Again, these burns are remarkably complicated, and yet they make it look very, very simple. The night sequences, again, set against this big backdrop here. Firstly, that's the barn in the background. We'll come back to that in a minute. She's chasing these three guys here. And again, the ferocity and the size. And when they come out the other side, look, the height of the flames, the height of the stunt performers, the heat, just remarkable stuff. Sends another one there. There's another one, another guy gone. And then it's towards the house, and the house is built from scratch. This is just a set. There's a great deal of action going on here. That up there is Mike Johnson. Let's find out how this is done.
Bringing Firestarter to life requires that the stuntmen perform the most dangerous stunt of all, the full body burn, over and over. Fortunately, they have the right crew. Word as the house explodes. Meanwhile, Mike Johnson will be standing on the balcony on fire.
You'll torch him and get the hell out of there. Wilson! Put him up!
Amazingly, Mike is unhurt. Testimony to the abilities of the special effects experts and the stunt crew.
They do a fine job. Look at this, when that comes in, this is the edit. Big explosion, and you just see him drop out of shot. I always think he could have got a bit more out of this. This is Glenn Randall and George Fisher.
Glenn Randall, stunt coordinator on Firestarter, is one of the most experienced in the business, with credits like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Return of the Jedi to his name. But on this film, he's trying new combinations of stunts.
We're incorporating two devices, not only the burn suit, but also a flying rig. And to my knowledge, this is the first time that we've ever attempted putting the two together, so it should be an interesting result.
The problem with fire stuff is once you feel the pain, it's too late. You're burned.
George Fisher is another veteran of fire films, having worked on the towering Inferno. In this scene, he is wearing a mask to double for George C. Scott's character. He's modest about his role in bringing the effect to the screen.
You're just a passenger. You say a little prayer and you depend on your buddies.
Always seems to be hanging there a long time. This is the initial part of this. So when the two go together, you'll see that he covers this one here as the gun is fired. The bullet, then she makes the bullet explode. That causes the fire. He goes out of shot, which is the first part, and then the rest of it, which is him disappearing off into the distance. It's remarkable. So there we go. That is Firestarter from 1984. There will be another movie from that year coming soon. Fire has come on leaps and bounds, of course, and there was a remake, or CGI flames, which were added to some of those sequences. Well, does it take anything away from it? Maybe. But what this does, I mean, these are very, very real moments where you have the actor, Drew Snyder, for instance, before the full burn goes into situation, is that his arm ignites. The same with Heather Locklear at the start. Her arms ignite. And, of course, they are triggered underneath the gloves that she had on because she was doing the putting the stuff in the oven and bits and pieces. There's little triggers, bang, which are activated by the special effects team, and they ignite those. And similarly with Drew Snyder's arm, his arm ignites, and it comes up, and then it cuts to the stuntman doing it. So it's a very, very simple in-camera way. I say simple, but an in-camera way of being able to do this and get away with it. Nowadays, of course, with the pictures they have, CGI options will be added to them. It's still worth taking into consideration that this is being done for real and in camera. And the safety, of course, is another issue. Look at the stunt guys there with the extraordinary work that they're going through. They're wearing these suits underneath. Nowadays, the development has come on. Now they've also got gel which will burn on the hand skin, on the skin itself. That wasn't available then, and so he's having to wear a mask, and he's having to have oxygen to be able to get him from, because there's a great deal of the manoeuvring that's going on, and the movements in this particular scene, allowing them to do this and do that, and then be able to react accordingly with the camera, and then go flat. And going flat is the key to put him out. These are rules which are set in stone prior to the take itself. It's worked out through the stunt coordinator and the performer and all the safety guys, so they know when he goes flat, you put him out. Now, the end of the picture, of course, that's a slightly different kettle of fish, because it's a fire gag on a wire rig, and that stuntman can't, do what he wants to do. The key there is for when it goes to the back of the room, bang, it hits the wall at the back, and then they come out immediately. They've got guys in the stable, remember, in the stable door, and they come straight out with the fire extinguishers and put him out. So all of this is sensational. And the other Mike Johnson gag, which is him effectively being blown up and falling out of the building onto the box rig below, and then you look at the edit. I'm always fascinated by this, is that you go to the extremes of setting it up, of lighting him, of blowing the building up and watching him come out, but then what you do is the camera position is right down here, it's locked off, and you catch him just coming through frame backwards, which is what happens in the final edit. So you always feel as though the performer's gone to this extraordinary length to get it done and then got mugged. I use that phrase a lot, but it's a mugging. You're being attacked by the editor, and obviously that it would have been better with maybe the shots from both sides. You have that one, and then you cut to the other one. You have that shot, and then maybe you cut to the locked off shot. I don't know why they don't do this. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, of course, but it drives me crazy. So I hope you enjoyed that, and that's Firestarter from 1984. We will be back with more movies from the class of 1984 before too long. Movies celebrating their 40th anniversary, so that will be another project to come along. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves will be along soon, don't panic. And in the meantime, don't forget to catch up with us on all of the social medias, and of course the Pod Dojo Network, who are responsible for the podcast, so check those out as well. And until next time, it's bye for now.